So in previous videos we have seen the multi-threaded socket server, and now we will be seeing the basics of the Flask. So we will be building the very simple web application. So for that we will be learning the Flask. So this Flask is a Python framework. You can Google for more Python web frameworks. You will get more than Flask. So you will get Django, etc. So the reason I chose Flask is it gives you some freedom of choosing whatever you want. So this Flask has modules. So if you want to use modules, you can use them. Otherwise you can write your own code as well. Suppose if you want to use some forms, there is some WT forms. So there are already like pre-made forms. So you can just you need to import them and you can use those forms in your application. So the advantages of these forms are it will automatically give some configuration for you. Suppose if there is a text field in this, in the text field, if you did not submit any field and you click on the submit button, then the form will give you a notification saying that this field cannot be empty. So like that you can validate automatically with these modules. You don't need to write any further code to validate the email field, password field, string field, etc. So that's why we can use these modules, or we can write our own code as well. So there is another framework that is called Django. So that Django is somewhat complicated. That Django is useful for full stack applications because everything is fully ready-made for you. So you just need to learn that particular module and you need to implement them. So it does not give you that much freedom over Flask, and Flask is can be useful for small applications to medium based applications. So import Flask. So first you need to open the command prompt and type pip install Flask. So this should do it, but I'm not going to do now because I have already run this command. Now so let's say from Flask import star. So this will import everything inside this Flask module. Now standard convention to create a Flask application is Flask, you need to pass the file name. So you can say __ name. So __ name is the special variable. It contains the value main. So whenever you run this application, particular this file, then the name points value is main. Then that means we are running this own server. Now we need to assign this to a variable. Let's say app. So normally other web developers follow this convention. App is equals to Flask of name. So I highly recommend to follow this convention as well, because if you want to read some other's code, then you might get confused about this. What is this app? So now if __ name is equals to __ main, so that means we are about to check this name is equals to main. So that means when we are executing this Python file, then only you run the application app.run. So let's go and run this one, and here you can see use a production WSGA server instead. So this is just for debugging purposes. So let's go and open this one. Before that, what we need to do is, let's say debug is equals to true. So normal what you need to do is you need to run this, you need to import some environment variables and you need to run this Flask run. So that is the command you need to run to initiate this web server, but that takes instead of that, what we can do is you can say app.run debug is equals to true. If you want to change any of this Python code, then you need to run this file again. So without that overhead, you can say debug is equals to true. So the server refreshes whenever there is a change in this file. So now let's go and click run, and here you can see the host IP address and the port number. It default runs on this 5000. So what we can do is You can also say port is equals to 1337 like that. So run this one, and you can see the port number has been changed. Generally, if you want to change the port number, you can change like that. So but we are not going to do that. So let's run this and open this one, and here you can see not found. So basically what we are going to do is we are requesting the slash, that is the main index page of this server, because we did not configure any of these index pages here. So let's go and write some code. So this URL or directory are called routes. So you can say @app.route. So we are declaring some route. We can say /root. So this is called a decorator. So whenever there is an event occurred, we can execute some particular function. Let's say definition or define, sorry, index. We need to return something. Let's say h1 tag hello world. So basically whenever there is an event for this one, that is slash, in this web application, then this function gets automatically executed, and this text will be rendered in the browser as a HTML. So let's go and run this one, and we are about to open this /root. So if you open this, and here you can see hello world, press Ctrl U, and you can see the HTML source code here. So this is the simple root you can define in this Flask. You can also define multiple routes to this single function. So app.route /index, or you can also say index.html. So you can say like that. Now if I go to /index.html and refresh this, I get the same result. So because here you can see multiple routes pointing to the same function. So let's, so this is a simple route. Now what we can do is we can also use some dynamic variables in this route. So suppose let's say username / I want to put some dynamic content here. Suppose let's say I want to say username /admin, let's say user1. So if I go to this username /user1, then I should greet with the page like hello user1. Okay, if I go to this hello user2, I should get greeted with hello user2. So in that case, what you can do is you can say if the route is /username/ and you can say name. So whatever the string placed after this username /name, this will be placed into the name variable. Now you need to pass that variable into this name. Now what we can do is you can say print of name to see what the value of that variable. So let's go and run this one, and let's open this username /user1. So we got the hello world, and let's see the content of this name variable, that is user1. You can see here the user1, this is the value of this second one. We got this. Now what we can do is you can comment this one, and you can say hello dot format of name. So that name will be placed here. Now let's go and run this one, and whenever I say /username /user1, and it says hello user1, and if I go to /user1 user2, it will go to user2. Hello tech69. So you can see the route is dynamically generated, and the content is also dynamically generated. So you can see here the return statement is like a string. So what if you want to put some big HTML page, so it definitely contains more than one line. So in that case, what we can do is we can point the HTML file in this one. So first we need to create a new folder called templates. So in that templates we host our HTML files. So inside this templates, let's create a file index.html. So let's go and write some HTML code. So let's say some h1 tag, hello world, or we can just say welcome to my website. Okay, this should do it. Now what we can do is we can say return render template. So render underscore template is the function. So it takes, you can see here the syntax, now we will pass the first argument, that is the file name. You can just say index.html. The Flask automatically searches for the templates folder and the file name index.html. And the second one is you can also pass the variable names, so you can use that in this index.html. So we will be first let's see how it renders. So whenever we go to this page, it goes to index.html and it will render this using this Jinja 2 template engine. So these template engines are used for dynamic content. So we'll be seeing that in the in few minutes. So if you run this one, so you can see welcome to my website. That is let's go and change here welcome to my website 2, and if I refresh this, and you can see the changes has been immediately occurred. So you need to be very careful on this render template and render template string. So there is another function that is called render template string. So this is very vulnerable to this template injection. So we'll be seeing that now as well. So I told you that that username slash name, right? So you can say index of name. So that variable will be stored in this name. So what I'm going to do is I can say render template string of name. So let's go and run this one. So let's go to username and user1, and you can see the user1, it is not even h1 tag, so it's just a data. Now what if I go to and say 7, it says 7. Now you should be very careful for this user input. It should be very filtered, and then it should be passed to this render template functions or render template string function. Now let's go and say 7 into 7, and it says normal 7 into 7. Now what we are going to do is we are going to put a template variable. So this we will be seeing in few minutes in the HTML file. So now 7 into 7. So now this value gets rendered by this render template string, and it goes and perform this calculation 7 into 7. Now if you hit enter, and you can see the value 49. So you can change this value, and you can see import, if there is an module import OS. So you can say os.system, and it goes and validates that as a Python code. So almost you can get the code execution here. So that's why you should be very careful where there is user input. It should be filtered first before passing into this template functions. Now what we are going to do is return render template of index.html. So I want to pass this name value into this index.html. So what I can do is I can say name is equals to name. we can say like username. So username is equals to name, so we are taking the name value and placing in this username, and the username value holds this name value, and we'll be sending that in this index.html. So welcome to my website. Let's also say thank you for registering, and here you can say open brace, and two braces inside this we can say username. Now let's go and run this one, and if you go and refresh this, and here you can see welcome to my website, thank you for registering Tech69. So this is how templating engines work. We can also do the Python loops as well, while loop, for loop, etc. So what I'm going to do is I want to show in this h2 tag for loop. So you can say open brace, percentage, and percentage close brace. So in this we need to write the code for I in range of let's say 5 times, and what you need to do is you need to say again percentage and end for. So you need to end this for loop, so the templating engine sees this and it ends the for loop. So the thank you for registering, the username will be printed 5 times in the HTML page. So if you refresh this, and you can see there are 5 times of this h2 tag. So that is the use of this templating engines. So you can import the data Python variables into this, and you can render them, and you can use them as you wish. So next thing we are going to see is that is we can say you can also write methods is equals to, so you need to define the methods this route accepts. So we can say first one as a post. So that means this route only accepts the post. You cannot perform the get request on this route. Now we can see whenever I change this we got some error. So let's go and run this again. We also have this error here. Let's change this. So we are returning only the, let's remove this as well. Let's remove this. So let's this route is only accepting the post request. So let's go and open the website, and you can also see the get request, but it says method not error. So to define that, you can say get and post. Now if I go and refresh this, I can see the index.html content. So you can also get the parameter values using whenever you send this as a get request. So what we are going to do is we'll be sending some parameters and their values over this get request, and let's say name is equals to request dot args dot get. So this should get you the value of the username. So let's go and run this one, and we'll be passing that name, username is equals to name, thank you for registering username. So let's say username is equals to Tech69, and here you can see thank you for registering Tech69. I can just say I can change the value of the parameter and it gets reflected in this response. So you can also do the post as well. So post will be doing in the next videos. So it requires some form data. So you can create a simple form and you can say request dot form of that value. So you can also get the request dot cookies if there are any cookies. So it is an empty dictionary for now. So you can also say request dot method to see if the request came from the client is whether the get or post or some other. And here you can see thank you for registering get. So the get is the request method. The client has been requested. Let's also see the form data for now. So let's say another form. So in this form what we are going to do is we are going to submitting the value. So we can also say action is equals to we need to send this to another route. So let's say app.route of / results. So I'm just defining the results. So you can also name whatever you want. So in these results what we're going to do is action is equals to you can say http 127 localhost 5000 / results, and in this will be say a p tag, enter username, and then a input tag, type is equals to text, and we can say okay, type is equals to text, name is equals to user name, and the next one is submit button. Input type is equals to submit. So this should do it. So let's go to home page. So we are not running this, sorry for that. Okay, we got some error. So let's say pass for now. We can write the code later. So let's run this, and you can see enter username. Let me delete this thank you for registering. So we are sending the value in the form data as the variable username. So now what we are going to do is results accept the methods is equals to only the post. So post, and here we can say the name is equals to request dot form of the actual variable name, that is this username. If you are confused about this name username, you can just give some unique value username 12, or you can say username value. So username underscore value. Now I can just say return welcome that username. We need to add this format of name. So I think that should do it. Let's run the server and let's go and submit a name, take 69. So the method is not allowed. Okay, we need to say the method is equals to post. Sorry for that. Let's submit this. Let's also say get. And you can see we got this results. Welcome text 679. What you can do is you can also send the, you can also put the value here. So let's go and say the value is let's delete this one and return render template of index.html and the name is equals to name. So we can put the name here and then I think this should do it. So let's go and refresh this and you can see, let's type the name and here you can see in the same page you get the results. So this is one of the better way, because we don't want every time to go to the new page and come back for posting the results. So green arrow, so you can see so this should be very convenient method than going to the new page. So that's all for the Flask basics. So if I forget anything, so we'll be covering in the next videos.